open this meeting of the Mascoma Valley Regional School Board. Call to order. We begin our public session with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First thing on our, I keep looking at your report, Lily, and it's the agenda. I'm like, that's not next on my list. Next thing on our agenda is approval of minutes, public and non-public of October 22nd.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, public and non-public.
Second.
Kathleen seconds. Okay. Any comments, questions, corrections, concerns on any of those?
I do have a question.
Okay.
So page 2 under finance and facilities, line 6. It says that Brewster stated he hopes to attend the next meeting on the 7th, but the next meeting was not on the 7th.
Oh, on the 6th.
6th.
All right. Good catch.
I think it's just a typo.
Yep. All right. Anything else? I did not see anything that popped out to me. Anything else? So I'll give people an opportunity. All right. All right, so all those in favor of approval of minutes, public and non-public from October 22nd, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions? All right. Next thing we have on our agenda is public comment. Seeing as how there's nobody here, we'll keep public comment open if somebody decides to come on in. So, all right, next thing we have is student representative report. Lily, go ahead, take it away. You have a written one she's given you, but I'll let you go ahead.
Alright, so I first have under sports. The football team had their first playoff game, the semifinals, on the 9th at home. And they won, so they're going to the championship this Saturday at Laconia High School at 1 against Raymond, and there is a fan bus.
Awesome.
Boys soccer had their Division III state championship game this Saturday, or last Saturday, the same day as the football game. Unfortunately, though, they did lose, so now they're ending their season as runner-up, which is still really good.
Mm-hmm.
For fall awards nights coming up, or already happened, well, they're all coming up actually. So. We have girls soccer on the 14th, volleyball on the 15th, boys soccer on the 18th, cross country on the 19th, and football on the 20th. Winter sports signups are available, and there's information night right now. There's open gym starting up. Basketball will be on Thursday and Friday. Thursday, boys from 3 to 7, girls from 7 to 9. Friday, girls 3 to 5, boys 5 to 7. Wrestling will have open mats 3 to 5, both of the days. Track and field will start next Thursday and Friday. And I guess football players aren't allowed to attend open workouts this week. We have clubs next. NHS went to the elementary schools to read the preschoolers on the 8th. The Thanksgiving food drive for NHS is underway. And the principal of the school who brings in the most food has to dress up in their funny outfit, and their school gets to play basketball against the NHS members. There'll be a shopping trip for NHS kids to get the remaining supplies on Monday, the 18th. Donations are accepted, and the most needed items right now are evaporated milk, pie crust, and pumpkin. And we'll pack the boxes Monday night after school. Interact ushers for the play this weekend, or this past weekend. They're also meeting with other Interacts at other schools to plan for Rise Against Hunger event. Drama Club had their play Arsenic and Old Lace the 8th through 10th, and it was really successful. The auditions for Little Shop of Horrors and Ride the Cyclone are coming up starting next Monday, the 18th. And then in other school news, on November 6th there was NA Supply Day, and a lot of seniors applied to colleges. Quarter 2 has now started. There was an opportunities fair recently that was pretty successful. Seniors do need to finish their write-ups for the yearbook, and we had our pep rally on the 8th, and shout out to Mr. May.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Any questions for Lily?
Well, yeah, this is really great. It's been wonderful to see so many students cheering on their teammates, and we've been really happy the Royals Athletic Boosters has been really happy to partner with the school and Butler's bus to provide fan buses. And I know we're also working with the football boosters so that the fan bus for the football championship game will also have free tickets for students on the fan bus. So that I think helps to reduce some of the barriers. Even if though it's just $5, it's $5 plus a safe ride.
That's
So
for sure.
I think that's really helpful. And Field Hockey already had their awards night, so there's none that are left off this list. So,
Good. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, the play, I was there, obviously I saw you in the play was great, and it was nice to see all the Interact members that were there training and stuff, and it was really well attended. I saw a lot of other students there and teachers, so it was nice to see all the different events. It is nice to see our community coming out for events, so cool. Anything else for Lily?
Yeah, I wanted to add that I discovered on the internet when I was looking through the New Hampshire School Board Association stuff that there's an article there, Reaching Higher in New Hampshire, and it talks about the new law about having student reps on school boards in New Hampshire. And there's a handbook that I can send Amanda the link, and then she'd take a look at it. It has information on there not only for the rep, but for the school board, because there's a few things that they suggest boards do, and we need to take a look at it. And one of them is to update our policy as the new law is now in effect. You know, so it's got a lot of good stuff on it.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get you connected with that stuff.
Yeah, there's a school board student rep training.
Oh, awesome.
So, and that's on the 7th, and I believe that Lily is talking to Tina.
Good, yeah, whatever you need to do to go to that, by all means. So, and then I also just want to remind you that as the school board rep, you are eligible for college scholarships from the New Hampshire School Board Association. For school board reps, they like split them up around the state. So that application will be coming later in the spring. So, yeah, that's a good thing.
You're part of the student council, and that's how the school board rep gets on this.
No, they have to elect them separately, right?
It's an open election, but we do run it at the same time as the student council reps.
Oh, okay, so it's not.
It's an elected
You don't have to be
position.
member of the student council.
No, I usually am. Like I've been in student council for since middle school.
Right. I'm wondering if we add student council to this report, as a section.
I usually.
And by the way, this is amazing. This is very good.
I think, they did teacher appreciation stuff recently.
Yeah, just
Cool.
a section on student council
Yeah,
that they're doing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. That's
Awesome.
great.
Cool. All right. Up next on our agenda, we have the budget committee meetings minutes. Amanda or Michelle, did you have anything you wanted to point out from that? From those? From budget?
No.
Okay. You can read the minutes in your meeting. Please attend if you are able to. We discussed the elementary schools on October 21st and the middle and high school on October 28th. Budgets are available. Please take a look. Yeah. That's that. Any questions budget related that we can attempt to answer right now? Next on our agenda is finance and facilities. You have your minutes, meeting minutes in the packet. Michelle gave us our updated CIP, which we will get to shortly later in this meeting, because as we talked about soccer field upgrade, she worked that into the CIP. Also worked in auditorium lights and the digital sign, and so we'll talk about that in a bit. Audits underway, budget we just talked about, contracted services we talked about, cafe services, and like how do the negative balances get dealt with, or what charities are involved, and maybe we can be a little proactive so we don't have a giant outstanding balance at the end of the year. Transportation, we did lose the new bus driver after 2 weeks, which is Sierra's back on driving, but they're in the process of hiring another one. So what
Do they have
Amanda
one
has
on the hook, or are we just still looking?
what?
Do we have one on the hook, or?
Yeah, no, we have one. We're always looking. So if you know anybody out there, please come drive a bus. But what we have here later in our packet is, or later in our agenda, is to approve a new bus route, right?
Yeah, you'll see later in the packet, I'm asking for the approval of, currently we have 2 Canaan Elementary School routes. If we're able to add this new driver plus another driver, that will allow us the opportunity to split up the Canaan bus routes. They're extremely long. We're not clearing until 4:40, 4:45. We're using a small van and 2 large buses. The contract states 3 large buses, so we are getting credited for those. Michelle's keeping an eye out for that to make sure that Butler is crediting us some for only running a small van. But they would like to get that van off the road and make us whole with a big bus. So as soon as we have that large bus driver, you'll see that there are the proposed routes, which cut down the routes considerably. I'm asking for you to approve those before we have a driver, just in case we get that driver and I don't want to wait for a month for the next board meeting.
Right.
Say, like,
Because we're not meeting in 2 weeks, we're not meeting for another month after this, and then we're not meeting for another month until January, so.
Right,
so we
so
have
yeah,
plenty.
if we can, we'll certainly give parents enough time to adjust their schedules, because the buses will be clearing out of Canaan. I think the latest bus was like 4:09, 4:10, which is a tremendous difference from 4:40,
Yeah,
so.
so that, we'll get to that later in the agenda here. Talking about that, we talked a little more about driver's ed. We're gonna, Kelly Reed is now talking to the state about status update. We will keep pushing on that. Facilities, Matt had MTD come out and take a look at the bump in the culvert in the entryway of the high school here. As you drive in, he did give a quote for that, just so we have an idea. They suspect there's a rock pushing the cement culvert up, but they said it's in good condition. It's a cement culvert rather than like a plastic one, so it should hold okay. So, but at least we have an idea, and it was looked at, so that's good. Talked about more things about some other various parts, and then we talked a bunch about solar. And so, how close are we to putting out an RFP or an RFQ, request for qualifications? And we want to look and see with other districts that have solar and what did they do and like how did that work. So we kind of threw the idea around creating a temporary subcommittee for like a 3 to 6 month study with like maybe 2 board members and then some community members, some administration, facilities people to kind of come up with a plan and come up with an RFP or a Q and then put it out there like that. But that's our recommendation. So that sort of thing. That's that. We did some policy work and we'll talk a little more about that. But that is our finance facilities. Any questions on that stuff?
I think it would be great if we do go with a temporary subcommittee to look at the solar and energy efficiency type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps having someone from the budget committee
Good thinking.
also be on that list, just so that there's a wide variety of stakeholders that are involved.
Yep.
I can think of one that might
I
be.
can think of
Yeah.
at least one.
Yeah, at least one.
I will say that subcommittee will need to meet during the day just because of work hours
Yeah.
for the people that need to be involved.
Like a 3 o'clock.
Like a 3
3:30.
o'clock would probably work,
Okay.
2 or 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Just so people can plan accordingly.
So then I guess in that case, we can have finance facilities at our meeting in December, kind of hammer out who we'd like to ask to be on this committee if the board would like that. Like we can direct the finance facilities committee to do that. Is that something that we would like to do here tonight, is direct them to do that? Or do we just want to make it up ourselves right now?
I'd like to direct them.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't mean to sound glib about making it up right now, but that way we'll actually have like on our budget, on our topic, on our agenda, we'll be able to like really think about it and dive into it. So, and I'll make a motion then that we direct the Finance Facilities Committee subcommittee to develop a solar subcommittee.
I'll second.
All right. And then based just on discussion in the school board meeting now, so we want to have a school board member, we want to have a budget committee member, member of administration, I'm assuming Amanda as well. Do you want someone else on there, Amanda? Like one of your building, like a building principal or a building person or?
I don't want to pull them out. This is a hard time of year to
Yeah.
start to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that committee really needs to be Dan, Matt, Michelle, I'll be involved.
Mhm.
Sort of the same players as the finance and facilities
Yeah.
stuff.
It'll have a lot of overlap, but at least then we'll have our own separate meetings. We'll just talk about solar. Okay, and then probably one or two community members that we can put a call out to, just to have some community input onto it as well.
Do you want to do an all call and then have the board select people to be on that? Like we did for the strategic planning work group?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk at finance facilities in December as to like how we want to do that. But I think then we can put out a call in early December and then kind of get this group to meet in January, if that sounds.
So how would you do that, the all-call? Like, is it just like an email that goes out?
So typically what we did for the strategic plan work group was people had to sort of fill out an application, and then it was reviewed here at the board, and the board selected the people they would like on the committee.
It was just like a one paragraph of,
But
like for
like, how
street,
does it get out there? Like,
Oh.
it could be like posted on the
List,
listserv.
yeah, listservs,
our own mailing lists.
yeah, the newsletters, the town newsletters. I think that was,
That's most of it.
because people don't read the mailing names.
No, no reason on it. But yeah, that's
Where the public notices go.
yeah, basically wherever we can publicly notice it. So, but I think it would be a good thing to have, at least one or two members of the public on there, just to have no real other anything else. So, all right.
And something like that could specifically go to, I think several of the towns have, like
yeah.
an energy commission or committee or something like that.
That's
So
what I was thinking.
I
Maybe
could
like
see my
vested
husband being
interest.
interested. He put solar on top of all of the hangers up at the airport.
Oh,
and
cool.
Has
Yeah.
experience with commercial as well as our house, so
Yeah, stuff like
I
that.
could see him being interested.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
That'd be great.
Because I mean, Bruce's not here, but he's a real big fan of solar. So we said, all right, well, let's keep moving on this stuff. So.
Me too, when my car goes.
I like it, that's good. Makes sense. All right, that's pretty much finance and facilities. That's pretty much everything. Any other questions on that?
Did we vote?
We didn't
Oh, we didn't vote. You're right. Okay, fine. Thank you. We still have to talk about that. All right. All those in favor of creating a solar subcommittee and direct finance and facilities to determine the makeup of that committee, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions? All right. There we go.
And if we have to call it a work group,
Then we
yeah,
will.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, a
I
work
think
group.
we had to do that for strategic planning.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, work group. That's all work group.
Yeah.
Everything I said was work group.
Yeah.
It's wording matters. All right. Let's see. Next thing on our agenda is superintendent's report.
So you do have my written report in your packet. I talk a little bit about being thankful, being grateful. This is the time of year to sort of take a deep breath and think about the things, that we have done really well here. Lily's done a nice job keeping you informed on all the, accolades and things we've done. Without support from groups like Royals Athletic Boosters, Football Boosters, Music Boosters, Butler's Bus. Butler's Bus takes kind of a bad rap sometimes, but people need to understand that they do supply fan buses for us at no charge. They donate that so that our fans can have a ride to and from, and some of those fans might not be able to make it if they didn't. So not only do we have great boosters organizations providing tickets, but we have organizations like Butler's, some of our contracted services that donate in other ways as well. They did 2 fan buses for the soccer championship game. They took all the football players in one, and they took the regular fans in the other, so that they didn't have to smell them.
Because they were coming right off the
They
field,
were coming
basically,
right
right?
off the field, so the football team came right off the field, got onto the bus, and came down to Bedford, which was really great. And we will do the same. Butler's is supplying another bus for Saturday, so kids will be able to come here, get a ride to Laconia to be able to watch the game. So it's just, a nice time of year to see the greatness of this community. Okay, the soapbox. So I do also talk in my report a little bit about, there's some apprehension about there of a board directive for a district-wide band and chorus concert. And I just want everybody to know that I don't believe that was the intent, if those were the words that were said. I believe it was a district-wide art show surrounding the concerts. which is what we've previously done. I've seen, as many of you have seen, that when we run an elementary school concert, we pack that auditorium.
Yeah.
So just when Canaan Elementary School had Ellen Wilbur and they did the chorus concert.
Yeah.
Were you behind that? Did we do that? We did that? You were too old, I think.
Yeah.
Reese was it. You were too old. You were Marshall were too old. We just absolutely pack the entire auditorium. Parents, grandparents, everybody shows up. And that's just Canaan Elementary School. So there'd be no way we could get everybody in. So I just want everybody to take a deep breath. It's okay. Reassure them that we won't try to do that this year. What we will try to do is make sure that the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school all have art on display during the concerts. And I believe, Seth, you can tell me I'm right, that we have coordinated the middle school and the high school concerts so that they're around the same time.
Correct.
Oh, look at me.
So the art can stay up.
And
whole
so the
time?
art will stay up for multiple concerts.
That's
So
awesome.
that's great. So
Nice. That's awesome.
look at my people doing a great job. So, we're pretty excited about that. So, yeah, so I just want everybody to know that we will not try to pack 5,000 people into our 500-person auditorium. And just remember, thinking that next year, as we get the band program going for fourth graders, it may look different. We might be able to get some of the fourth graders to play with the middle school, and so that might look a little bit different as we start to progress, but that's a job for next year. Budget season, yay, starting to draw to a close. The famous step forward always said, get me to Thanksgiving so I can take a deep breath. And we were getting close to that. And once again, a thank you to all the people that supported our sports teams this year. I did make it to the plate in the tributes to Mr. Chalker for Sunday. Very nice, very funny, some hilarious moments in the play. It was pretty funny. So good. Kudos to everyone. Big weekend for Mascoma.
Very big weekend, yeah. Cool, thank you. Any questions for Amanda? All right. I do know Jason Jarvis has already been in touch with the Music Boosters about the spring art show and coordinating and getting stuff all together. So we're very excited to help out with that. So
Beautiful.
yeah, and he also shared that he got the gym at CES during Christmas in Canaan, and so we're going to coordinate some stuff with him too for that. So
Better.
because he can't do their bowls thing because he didn't get the funding for it for this fall, but he can get it for the spring, he thinks. So we'll do it then. All right. Business Administrator's report. You have a report in the packet. Michelle, anything you want to point out?
Okay, the report, the October financials are also in the packet. And as Tim said, the updated CIP is in there for your approval. I've got the soccer field renovation bid for you to approve. I did include in my report the amounts that are going to be returned to the towns. I did get the apportionment spreadsheet back, and really that's it. I mean, we attended that NHSAA Best Practices Conference on Halloween the day before, which was, I enjoyed it. I think I got a lot out of those presentations, so I had a lot of good information I got to take back with me. If there are no questions on the budget,
All right.
that's it.
Any questions for Michelle?
I'm still wondering about that line item on the SPED, the over-encumbered transportation.
Transportation, so that was an additional Spalding run that wasn't budgeted for.
Okay, so it wasn't a correction.
Right. It's not something I can, it was.
Okay.
Okay. All right then. Okay. All right, next on our agenda we have bus routes. You see in your packet, we have 3 proposed bus routes. Like Amanda just said, it is splitting the 2 Canaan routes into a third. And basically, by approving these routes, we would allow Amanda to flip to these routes when the drivers are hired. The understanding, obviously, they're not going to start a route without a driver. So, yeah, anything in particular you want to point out, Amanda? Or
No, I just want to reassure parents that these do not start tomorrow. They do not start until, we have given parents ample time to make adjustments to their schedules. I know this will impact some people, it will impact their work schedules if their students or children are dropped off half an hour earlier than they anticipate.
Yeah.
Or picked up, at a significant amount of time later, because there also was an impact in the morning. So these are not to start anytime soon. They're just in here just in case, you know, they're proposed. If we hire another driver and I can give parents a week or two notice, we're just not waiting for the school board to meet, because 2 months, that would be a long time.
That would be a long time. So yes, I mean, obviously Amanda will communicate this to parents and principals will communicate this to parents and everything, so.
That being said, if anyone sees anything in there that doesn't look right, Tammy Dealey has gone through them with a fine-tooth comb. She came up with some issues or concerns. So if anybody in here sees anything, please let me know with an email.
Okay.
With an email, because I did find stuff.
Oh, what do you have, Kathleen? I'll take it right now.
Okay, so it's bus route CES 6. I forgot my readers tonight.
Oh, do you want a pair? I have a pair.
I think I'm doing okay right
Okay.
now. I've got long arms. So down where it says 118, they got 288, Route 118. There's a couple stops on Route 118. And then all of a sudden, Tuttle Hill moves in there. Well, Tuttle Hill is not there.
Oh, you're right, that's not Tuttle Hill turnaround.
Because you have to go up Cardigan Mountain Road or Orange Road. It's basically the same road, just two different towns name it differently. And so all of those, right down to 159 Orange Road, should come before Tuttle Hill.
Okay, so, the 720 Tuttle,
Yeah, take out Tuttle Hill Road after the 288 and move it down below 159 Orange Road.
okay,
And then, because I double checked on Google Maps too, to see if
okay.
everything was jiving, and I'm like, yeah, the road's out of place.
Now, is that the same on the way home?
Yeah, it's.
Put it after 159 Orange
Yeah,
Road? All right.
it's the same deal. And so, are these routes substantially shorter than the current ones?
Substantially.
That's
Yeah,
what I
I don't
thought.
think I have
When I
a,
looked at the time, I thought,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think I have a bus route. Michelle's gonna pull them up for me, but I don't think CES 5 clears before 4:30.
It's dark.
Nothing, I got it. She's doing something else. It's all right. I don't think it clears before 4:35, 4:36. I wanna see how I did. Let me see. Bus routes. CES 5.
418.
418.
Little big. Yeah, 4:30 is the best one. It looks like Route 7, bus 7, the Grafton Canyon route, very long.
Right
That's
now.
the current.
Yeah, currently,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the new one says 418,
Yeah.
which is nice.
That is nice.
Yeah. Every time matters there, you know, you've gotta keep it so they get home before 5 o'clock.
Or
It's
dark.
dark.
Yeah, because it's dark,
at 4.
yeah, it was like 4:45 and I left my office, I'm like, it's dark.
yeah. So it's at 4:30. I think there's another one that's, one of the other ones for Canaan, bus 5. Let's look at that. I mean, I know personally, I stay at the office, 4:35 for the current CES 5. So
Gotcha.
it's a significant change.
That's, yeah, and so for parents who are used to getting, you know, oh, I can make it home at 4:35, because my
Yeah.
kid doesn't get home till 4:40, then not quite the same, or I can leave at 6:30, because my kid's out the door, so.
Yeah.
All right,
Will we, we're gonna approve them tonight so that you don't have to wait for them, but will they be posted online?
No.
Okay.
Until we, no, we.
not till they're official.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve these bus routes with the caveat that Amanda posts them when she's ready to run
With that
them.
one change that counts.
With the one change that Kathleen made. Yep.
Make a motion that we approve, the newer versions of CES 5, CES 6, and CES 7, bus routes.
Okay. And we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all right, that's with the changes that Kathleen said, and obviously, like we said, with the caveat that Amanda's not gonna announce this and then not have a driver, so.
Yes. It's a preemptive approval.
Preemptive approval, obviously, all right. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstentions. All right. Next thing on our list is the CIP, Capital Improvement Plan. So, entertain a motion to approve the CIP as presented so we can start discussing it.
Make a motion that we approve the updated amended capital improvement plan FY25 dated 11/12/24.
Okay.
A
And
second.
Kathleen seconds. All right. So this adds, as we said, the athletic field soccer upgrade here, which will be going into the current fiscal year. It also adds the digital sign for the following fiscal year, because that's going to be something that we need to replace. It does have a lifespan. They have also added in up here the auditorium house lights for fiscal year 26, based on a 10-year lifespan of those, I think. And yeah, that is that. That's what. Anything else that was added? I think that was with those three things, right? Okay. All right. Any other discussion on those? Okay. All those in favor of approving the CIP as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right. Next thing up, we have cafeteria equipment capital reserve fund transfer request. Michelle has a note here. Just want to go ahead and talk about that.
So there's a request for up to $10,000 to replace the IRS and EBS two-door refrigerators in the cafeteria. I was trying to find the age of them. Dan had told me the age of them. They're old. Dirt.
They're old as
way
dirt.
past their lifespan.
Yeah.
Newer ones, I think they're supposed to last 20 to 25 years or something. So
Good.
They do last a while, but they
We
need
got-
to be replaced. So
We got our money's worth then.
yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I'll entertain a motion on that then.
Make a motion that we approve transfer of up to $10,000 to cover replacement of the IRS and EBS two-door refrigerators from the cafeteria equipment capital reserve fund.
Okay.
A second.
Kathleen seconds. All right. Discussion on that. Anyone have anything?
I'm sure the new ones have to be more energy efficient
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Will we check in with the New Hampshire agency that does rebates on appliances and stuff like that to see if they would give us any sort of credit or
Energy
rebate for the
Star
new
or
ones? Yeah.
Whatever they do, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's for sure. They gotta be
Yeah.
running way more efficiently. Yeah, that's for sure. So.
Are the old ones still operational?
Barely.
I was gonna say barely.
So what we found was, so the whole thing came about because Anton was asking, he asked in one of the wellness meetings if the evening custodians could go through and take the temperatures before they left. And that was a little bit concerning to me that we have
Yeah.
to watch our refrigerators
Yeah.
that carefully.
Yeah.
Because he was losing a lot of product, right? So he would lose the freezer, didn't know how long it would have, so we were like, so Anton, tell me more, why are we really looking at checking temperatures on, he was checking before he left at 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
That's not
And then
good.
we were checking again at 10
Yeah.
o'clock.
The food safety.
Yeah.
risk.
So,
Yeah.
he really said some of the refrigerators are very old and have given up, and, we fixed them and then they give up again. So we're done fixing.
Yeah.
We've got this,
Yeah.
reserve fund.
Yeah,
We might
that's-
as well.
That's
what
what
it's
it's for.
No. Please tell us when we need to replace equipment.
Yes.
We have the money for it. There's no reason we need to be suffering and
Yeah.
limping along.
And I think we're replacing a freezer out of the general fund.
We are going to replace
Okay,
the
good.
freezer. Yeah.
But that's coming out of the
That's
general
coming
fund.
out.
Like a freezer, not like a walk-in freezer, but just like a regular old.
Yeah, now the walk-in
Okay.
freezer here, we did work, remember,
Yeah.
years ago when
Yeah.
Roger was here, we
Yep.
did work with on top of
The compressor?
Yeah, that
Yep.
thing.
I know what you mean. All right, so.
Do you
we
have
made
a
mo-
question, when we get the quotes for the new equipment, will they take the old away? Or is there gonna be an additional charge for it and
So
stuff?
I'll find out.
Yeah. Good question.
I'll ask Dan, yeah.
I hope they take it away.
Cause they're big things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they gotta dispose of them correctly, all that kind of stuff, so. All right, any other questions on that? All right, all those in favor of the motion to transfer $10,000 to cover the replacement of the IRS and EBS two-door refrigerators from the cafeteria equipment capital reserve fund, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, abstentions. All right. Up next is bids for the soccer field renovation. As you see, we sent it out to several places, did not receive bids from several of them, but we have Valley Turf here with a bid of $68,200. So I entertain a motion on that.
I was, sorry.
Yeah, we can entertain a motion, then we'll
I
talk.
know, I realized.
That's okay.
I'm making a motion that we approve the bid from Valley Turf for the amount of $68,200 for the high school soccer field renovation.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, discussion. Go ahead, Don.
I was just curious because I have absolutely no idea what that entails, like what that entails. Do we know, like in the, I mean, obviously you got the quote, but just like an elevator speech of what that entails?
Sure, I was there when we did the walkthrough. So what they're gonna do is rip it all up, right? And then they're going to bring in more material and compact it and laser level it. Then they'll bring in sod and unroll the grass.
Do we currently have sod down
No, we have
It's our natural
grass?
grass.
Good old fashioned grass.
Yeah.
See,
And not even really anymore, she kind of burned and died.
Yeah.
So it's going to involve some irrigation on our part, we're gonna have to pay attention to it, irrigate it. And we wanna get that started as soon as possible because he believes that it will take root and be okay for baseball and softball season.
I was wondering how that would impact
Yeah,
this group.
but it's gotta start like,
Tomorrow.
ASAP tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
do we have an irrigation system down there?
We do not, so we would, I believe, is that part of the bid, was some irrigation
I
to?
remember
So
them talking about
automatic
that.
sprinklers?
I forget if they're the kind that pop up and pop out.
My issue would be if, and I understand that, you put new sod down, you need to keep it moist and everything going into the winter. But you also are going to have to drain your pipes at some point,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because you can't have pipes full of water.
Right.
So that's where, this really is a very short window.
It's a very short
And
window.
do we want to just do it in the spring or?
He didn't feel like it would be ready over the summer for summer use by the time school
Right.
got out and then.
Yeah, that's a tight window.
It's
This is the
very-
time of year to
They
do
do
it,
have
it's
pipes
right
that
after
are
soccer
freezing.
season.
Yeah.
It's very tight.
Um,
And it might not be putting in the underground irrigation
Yeah.
until later,
Right.
right? We might be looking at putting sprinklers out.
Or just-
Oh,
For this
so-
fall, just sprinkle
It
the
needs to
hoses.
stay wet. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I
Okay,
think
yeah.
there's some flexibility in that.
Plus, as we cycle more fields through this, because in a couple of years, we'll do the field hockey field
Yeah.
and we'll work in irrigation to those as well, so. Or at least irrigation access, because like if you have a place you can get hoses in and then get the big sprinklers, set up, you can do that too.
Well, sometimes they can bring the irrigation line in and they have a check valve so it back falls,
Oh, nice,
in,
yeah.
and you get below the frost.
Oh,
like
good,
that.
yeah.
Right.
I'm sure they're the experts, they
Yeah,
take care of
that's,
that.
I think for us, that's the best way to do it.
Okay.
But this quote involves that part of it, so it doesn't need necessarily another action on our part. It's just included in
It
that.
says install new water line for
Yeah,
irrigation.
okay.
It's part of it.
So tap into wherever we have a
Yeah.
water line, so, cool. All right, any other discussion on that? All right, all those in favor of awarding the bid to Valley Turf Services in the amount of $68,200, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions. All right, this next thing on your agenda, this is something Amanda asked me to talk about. So the insurance for everybody here that works here, so support staff, teachers, and administration all have the insurance. You're looking at an 11% increase, right?
Actually, Michelle did the
No.
math on that.
I'm just
I'll
doing
let her
based off what
explain
you're
a
reading
little more. Yes.
Okay,
So there's no premium holiday like this year. It's the first year in, I don't know, how many decades since they're not getting one.
so what premium holiday is?
11% is the credit we get back. So there's an effective rate that you get charged. And if there's a premium holiday, it's a little bit less. So because we had a premium holiday credit last year, there's two different rates we're going by, right? So she goes the 11% off the effective rate, which is not the premium holiday rate.
Gotcha.
So really, if you go from the effective rate last year to this rate, it's really 12.7.
Okay, but on paper, it's 11%.
On paper, it's 11 to
I
them
gotcha.
because we got the premium holiday last year.
So, the question they pose is that they ask their members, because they have the option to have the addition of the coverage of GLP-1 drugs, such as Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, etc. If they include those in there, it would mean another percentage rate increase. How much is that percentage rate increase?
It's an additional 6%
But
on top of that.
Additional 6% on top of that. So including the GLP-1 would mean a 17% increase, give or take,
Right.
on top of their health insurance. Now, they did a survey of of as many people as they got. They got 79 responses, with 57% of them saying, I would rather have it without the GLP-1, and 43% saying, yes, please, GLP-1. So that's the input from the staff. Right.
And there's no way to offer it as an add-on only to those that are interested, right?
The only way they can do it is if we, the school board, as the administrative body of your insurance, whatever plan, authorizes that as a thing that they can put in there, because then they will add it on and include it. So our decision is, do we want to include the GLP-1 or not on their insurance?
Can I chime in just for a
Yes,
minute?
by all means.
In all fairness to Michelle, ran the math on the cost to the district, that it would be if that extra 6%, and Michelle, what was your number there? 277?
It's high to,
Yeah, almost $300,000.
It brought the total increase for our whole budget, as soon as I get spent done, up about 1%, so.
Okay.
If you were at 4, we're gonna be at 5.
So that's a significant increase. I would fight for that increase if I saw the numbers here.
Yeah.
People overwhelmingly in support of it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I just don't think that this is the right time to do it, nor do I think that it's a fair increase for the insurance company to be asking, but it's the insurance company's game to play. So my advice to the board, and I know this will impact some of the people that work here, but it is what it is, because of the added increase of 200,000, because of the not ability of just certain people to opt into it and pay a little extra, like this is an all or nothing, and with the lack of support as demonstrated by this survey, I can't advise you to improve it at this time.
Now, is this something that if someone separately, because we have like the flex spending accounts and things like that, could an employee use that type of thing? So there is an opportunity there for that sort of thing. So, so you don't need any action on this. This was just a question.
I do.
Oh, to say no?
Yeah, like I would like you to not approve of it.
Okay.
I
Well,
think.
a lot of those companies have coupons that make it not inexpensive, but like $500,
Yeah.
versus like $1,200. So
Yeah, and I do know there were some people that said that this would be great for the district to have, it would help us recruit people, you know, those kind of comments, and I agree. And if we weren't looking at a 12% increase in health already, if we were looking at a 2% health increase, my advice would be, let's go ahead and take it now.
Yeah.
But if, you know, without that, I just can't justify a 20% increase in health insurance at this time.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So I have a question, statewide, what are the other schools in New Hampshire getting hit with? Is it similar, or are they all different?
So any schools that fall with youth school care for their health insurance provider have to go through the same process. They need the governing body, which is the school board, to approve the addition of the GLP-1 coverage as added 6%. So I don't know, and the school care, I think we're on the kind of the lower end at 11% for the increase.
So, yeah, and I do know at the school care meeting, it only passed by 4 votes. There were 2 representatives from each district
Wow.
in there,
So I don't know if any school districts want to incur 20%, right? Because 16, 17, 18% increase to health insurance at this time. 11%, 12% is hard enough to swallow. So,
Isn't it this, you were talking about the effective rate, we have been under in our rates for
forever.
a very long time, right? This is kind of the first shock to the system, so to speak.
Absolutely. So you're right, I hope every time, you know, we've budgeted for 10 and come in at 2,468.
Yeah, it's been great.
And here we are, budgeting at 10, coming in at 12.
Yeah. All right.
This is a very specific question, which we may not have the answer to, but do people that use our school care insurance plan, if they are using GLP-1s for diabetes management, for example, as opposed to strictly for bariatric or weight management, are they able to kind of petition to get it covered as part of their diabetes care?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay.
Take a look into that, because I know there is like official diabetes diagnosis.
Usually if it's
if you want
officially
one, yeah.
diagnosed with diabetes, it is usually approved. I don't obviously have school
Yeah.
there, but usually what I've understood is that
Yeah.
it is usually approved if it's directly related to diabetes.
Yeah.
Not for weight management,
Gotcha.
because that's part of what's putting so much strain on the
Yeah.
manufacturers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I haven't had anyone complain
Okay.
that it's not covered.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's
Oh, that's actually really good to know.
Yeah, because otherwise,
Okay.
he'd probably hear by
Yeah, you
now
would.
Yes.
that a diabetic
Yes.
would not be able to get it.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is
so
cool.
I have not heard any complaints. which
Well, let's
is-
hope that's the case.
Okay.
All right, so I guess we got to make a motion and then probably vote no.
Do you want the motion in the affirmative?
Probably should.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we, that the school care insurance plan be updated to include GLP-1s.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'll second.
All right, Kathleen, second. All right. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Nay. All abstaining? All right, there we go. Good, 'cause now we got this.
Yep.
That's good. I like that. All right. Upstairs, next we have on our agenda is the NHSBA dues increase. As it says in your packets, they're raising membership dues for fiscal year 26, so that starts July 1st of next year. They have not raised dues or their policy subscriptions fees for 16 years.
Wow.
And they have not increased their webinar training subscription fees in 5 years, since they first put it together in 2019. So they're looking at a dues increase of 5%, a policy subscription service of $150 from $450 to $600, which I have to say is probably the most valuable thing that we get from them, and that's a
Seriously.
steal. The webinar subscription fee will increase from $50 per board member to $75 per board member. And so if,
That's still worth it.
that's still worth it too,
Yeah.
because if any of you have ever taken any of those webinars, they are highly effective and really, really good. But that's my spiel for why I obviously support this. But yeah, that allows them to continue things. So I'm looking for a motion on that.
I'll make a motion that we approve paying the increased membership dues and affiliated costs for FY '26 for the New Hampshire School Board Association.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, Don seconds. And then that way we'll be able to get into our budget action. This
Yeah.
is really good
Yes.
timing. I'm sure they know that.
Yeah.
So, all right, any further discussion on that? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstentions. See, Lily, this is riveting stuff. All right, so we have some policies here for second reading. So if you want to go ahead and read through those.
Make a motion that we approve for second reading and approval and adoption, policy JICD, student discipline and due process, policy GBCD-RG1, background investigation and criminal history, records check, internal controls and procedures, policy IHBA, programs for pupils with disabilities, policy IHBA-R1, programs for pupils with disabilities, section 504, notice of parent and student rights, and policy FAA, annual facility plan and unused district property.
All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Kathleen seconds. Okay, anything else? We didn't change hardly anything of these. I don't think we changed anything on these.
If we changed anything, I'll just
Last
give them a
one.
quick flip here.
Any other comments, concerns, questions on any of those policies? A lot of these are required by law. It is that time of year. We're updating our legal ones as stuff passed earlier this year, so. All right. All those, okay, ready? All right, all those in favor of approving policy JICD, policy GBCD-RG1, IHBA, policy IHBA-R1, and policy FAA for second reading and adoption signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, abstentions. All right, so we got a couple more, we got some more first readings here. We got a lot of first reading ones here. If you want to do it all in one swoop, and then we'll take it one by one.
For the ones that that have all the alphabet soup, do we need to say them 3 times?
No,
or-
just say it once.
Okay. All right, you all get the gist.
We all get the
All
gist.
right, so I make motion that we approve first reading, policy GBA JLCEA KFD,
Yeah, that's all. Of it.
use of automated external defibrillators. Policy JJIC, eligibility for interscholastic athletics. Policy JLCJA, emergency plan for sports-related injuries and additional protocols for athletics participation. Policy JLF, reporting child abuse or neglect. Policy JLF-F1, reporting of child abuse or neglect report form. Policy JLP, parental notification of and involvement in student welfare. Policy DID, inventory and management of assets. Policy EEAB, establishment of school bus routes. Policy BAAA, school board policies and administrative procedures. And finally, policy DAF, administration of federal grant funds.
Okay.
I'll second.
Kathleen, second. All right. Start with the very first one we have here, the alphabet soup, all about AED, automated external defibrillators. First of all, there's a typo in the first page. In the word external, and he's a T.
Yes.
These are all required by law.
In the title,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, in the title. Sorry, it's in the title. Yeah, sorry. Is this because, so we do not have this policy currently? Some of them.
No, we do. We do.
Because it says at the bottom, it says we don't, but it says
No,
probably
so-
because of the 3 overlaps,
So
right?
actually, you're right. So this was one that was recommended before, so we didn't have the policy on it, but now it's required by law,
Okay.
which is why you're seeing it. So yes, we do not have this.
Okay.
That's correct.
Doesn't it usually say in our priority, required by law, or we don't put that category?
Yeah, we should put the category on. Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
They usually do. But yeah, basically, since we have AEDs here in the building, right? We have them in all
We
3
do.
buildings.
Yeah.
We should probably have a good policy for it, so. Yeah, this just says location shall be selected properly, authorized people, training, maintenance, registration, and incident reporting, and liability, blah, blah, blah. Any questions on those?
I don't know that we need to include it in the policy itself, because it, in section 2, authorized employees and training of users, one of the categories of employees that should be included, of course, is coaches, because of the increased opportunity of sudden cardiac events during exercise, essentially.
That's a good point.
Where it says employees, you want it to say and coaches?
I don't know that it needs to say that, because it might actually
Coach
be
technically
in the.
employee?
Yeah, they would be considered, they'd be considered employees, so I think they still fall under that, I think it's just.
The
making
person
sure.
I would pick to pick out of there would be the athletic director. Like personally, I would say like put the athletic director as, but I wouldn't require him, but like that would be, I wouldn't put it in there, but like that's the person I would think would have like training on it, because they're always here during athletic events, almost always. But yeah, coaches would be a good one. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have more people like
Yeah.
trained on it. So
So that would be a recommendation I
Yeah.
give to.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't think we need it in the
Middle school and high
policy,
school,
I think it's just.
that coaches and the athletic
Yeah.
director should be trained. Yep, I think that's good.
because yeah, man.
Do you guys include all the employees at some point in a, CPR class, or?
We do offer
Because
CPR.
usually the AED is covered.
It's voluntary though. We don't make it mandatory.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's good for everybody to learn
It's
it.
mandatory for coaches.
For coaches it is.
You have to, all coaches are trained.
That's
But paras, we do offer it. I would say most of the paras take us up on that. We do it after school, extra time. We pay for the course. We have someone come in and do it. But it is not mandatory for all employees.
Yeah, I guess I would just like the mentality would be like if there's people in the building, there should be somebody in the building who knows how to work it.
Absolutely.
So like if there's stuff happening at night, there should be somebody who's here at night. That sort of thing. So,
Everybody should know how to use it.
well, yeah, everybody should know that. So, all right, so that's the.
I have a
Oh,
question.
go ahead.
Who does the maintenance on the AEDs? Is it
We
facilities?
have a company that comes in and does it.
Probably
Oh,
something like Hampshire Fire Protection, not them, but like they probably
That type
have
of-
one that's
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
specifically the AEDs, I'd imagine. imagine.
I don't know the
They
name.
all have a sticker on them and they get updated officially.
The SAU has one and he has been in to do it.
Can-
Some guy comes
Good.
in.
It says in here, number 3, they'll be maintained by the school nurse or their designee. They'll be done
So
according to
be
the
contracted.
Yeah, according to the manufacturer specifications, and the nurse will maintain a record of all maintenance that's been performed. So the nurse kind of like takes ownership of that thing, and then they're the point person for it, so. Cool. Any other questions on defibrillators? Okay. Next one up is eligibility for interscholastic athletics. What updates do you have on that one?
So this one, the School Board Association said that we should get rid of our old one entirely and replace it with this new updated version. So basically, let me look at what the school board said for why. So there's some legal updates in here, especially a couple pretty big ones here, House bills and RSAs. And then just some other language improvements, but that's pretty much what it is.
There's a mistake in it as far as I can
Oh
tell.
yeah, what'd you find?
Let's see, page 3 of 3, section 2, at the very second to last sentence, it says, for the purpose of the section, as described in section ID4, and I believe it should say IB4.
Once again, Hope, where are you? Because
Page 3,
B caught mine.
first paragraph,
Yep,
second to
Oh,
last
ID,
sentence,
got
where
it.
it says ID4.
yep, should I be?
I believe it should say IB4, because ID4 has to do with academic, and
Yep.
IB4 has to do with a birth certificate, that kind of thing.
So,
I think that's a boo-boo.
I think so too.
the other thing is that we already have a policy, JJIC, and that is called eligibility for Mascoma High School co-curricular activities and athletics.
Right.
And it is more to do with your GPA, your standing, your transfer student, your special education, participating homeschoolers, parochial, things like that. So we would have to renumber that one.
Or rescind it,
Or rescind it. But
or is it?
It's
does
the
it
same code, so
replace
it's
it?
okay. We're replacing.
we would
replace
replace, yeah, we replace it. But this one specifically, they're very different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, because this really only has to do with sports,
Right.
this new one.
Oh,
Yeah, that was one of my concerns when I read that. I mean, I had many concerns, but the two biggest concerns were around the fact that our current policy is more inclusive of co-curricular activities and
Mhm.
not just sports. So if we have people that are, that want to be part of the play and don't meet those requirements,
Right.
there's there's recourse for that, and that's not included in this replacement policy. So we'd have to deal with that either by renumbering or figuring out what to do with our other policy. And then, of course, on page 3 of 3, section 2 at the beginning, of course, we get top of the page around gender-specific teams for middle and high school. This, a couple of different things. This says that it refers to grades 5 through 8, but the heading is for middle and high school teams, so
Mhm.
why wouldn't it be 5 through 12
Mhm.
instead of 5 through 8? We do have teams in the high school that are considered co-ed teams,
Mhm.
so it's not just something that happens at the middle school level.
Mhm.
Anything from cross-country to wrestling to.
Football.
I mean,
Football girls.
well, so, and this
Yeah.
is where we get into the ramifications of approving a policy like this,
Mhm.
because, so that's my concern about, the grades are wrong.
Mhm.
We have co-ed programs in high school as well, those don't seem to be covered, but it's listed in the name. And then it goes on to say, teams designated for boys will not be open to girls, and teams designated for girls will not be open to boys. And unless something is designated as a co-ed team, which I don't know if we can designate just our team as co-ed for football or for other things. You know, that would be my concern, is we're limiting the opportunities. And even if we think back to before we had a girls soccer team, which
Right.
was not that long ago,
Yeah,
it was
like 4
within,
years ago.
it was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, right? That would have precluded
Mhm.
our girls from having any opportunity
Mhm.
for soccer. And so by approving a policy with that kind of language in it, I have real concerns about the limiting aspect of what kind of things are open. Now, whether or not we have the ability to maneuver away from some of the language in the RSAs, I don't know.
So this section 2
Yeah.
is optional. It could be removed
Okay.
No,
if you would like to choose to remove that.
but for the reasons you just said, I mean,
I feel like it's a
specifically.
pretty strong argument.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because I just think of like how many girls we've had on the football teams
Well,
and on the soccer teams,
It's
just
like,
all
it's
of it.
the
yeah.
struggle of a D3 school, right?
Yeah.
Like, we just don't have the population to
Yeah.
have all these teams
Right.
where we are excluding people from opportunities, so.
So yeah, I would recommend that we just take that
Okay.
paragraph
So
right out.
that's not RSA
Nope.
related?
It's
Okay.
actually, it says in here that it's optional, we just left everything in.
Okay.
So that is
I would strike that
optional.
in, I would strike that entire.
Okay.
That being said, with the amount of cross work with the other one, I wonder if we would want to send this to co-curricular or EIC.
Yeah.
When does co-curricular meet next?
Thursday.
This Thursday? Is that too soon? I don't mean to just dump it out like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I think this is something that they maybe could look at later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we put this
Yeah.
in place with the new version,
Mm-hmm.
especially as it pertains to the birth certificate stuff.
Yeah. Can we?
That is by law.
So the birth.
And honestly, I will tell you that, I know that would come out with that section.
Yeah.
I anticipate some changes to Title IX,
Oh yeah.
starting next year.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think, to remove that and move forward, then you could have then we can have the co-curricular group really look at this.
Yeah. I just hesitate to adopt this and wipe the other one off the books. You know what I mean? Because by adopting this one under JJIC, we will wipe off the old JJIC off the books. I want to keep that one.
This is the first read.
We have a JJIC on. Oh, I see what you're saying. Just between now and the first reading.
So it's like, we could in theory have them at the second reading address it, right?
Yeah.
In the co-curricular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we don't have
Oh,
to
okay, that's
have
right.
have the second
Yeah.
reading come until,
Till another month.
you know, it could come in a
January.
couple months, it
Okay.
could come whenever.
That's a good
It can
point.
be on hold.
Yeah.
Okay, that's, yeah, thank you, I forgot that,
Yeah.
we could always do first, second, so, okay, that's fine, that makes me feel better. Because this is, we did a really good job on this one that we have, like, I remember writing this and like coming up with this and making sure that it like applied to all the kids and all that sort of thing.
Well, and we can also look and see what the School Board Association has for, co-curricular clubs
That
and
type
things
of
like
thing.
that.
Yeah.
And then we might be adding those policies in also.
Cool.
So we might be changing this one and adding in some others.
All right, so that's that one.
And the RSA is requiring, though, that we need to start for athletic participation in the state of New Hampshire, we're gonna need to start collecting birth certificates, originals. And it doesn't count, you can't count the one that was originally submitted when you sign your kid up for school.
Yes, we can.
We
Oh.
can
We
count that?
chose to
Okay.
count those original ones if
Okay.
they were on file.
Like, we got them when they were in
We're
kindergarten?
not gonna make
Okay.
everybody put
Good.
in another one.
Okay, good.
No, like,
Because I was just thinking, is that one more thing that's gonna be
Yeah.
required on Family ID
Yeah,
for people to upload?
No, as long as it was.
It's hard enough to get those, to get the,
Man,
health
I was
exam.
gonna say, I always struggle just to get this stupid exam.
All right, so that'll go to co-curricular and other such things before coming back to us. All right, next thing we have on here is JLCJA, Emergency Plan for Sports-Related Injuries and Additional Protocols for Athletic. That also needs has a typo in the title, Athletics Participation.
Somebody was on the struggle.
I don't know about those increased. Yeah, I guess I really do know those dues. They can't afford all the letters in their titles.
Like to buy.
All right, so this is a sports injury emergency action plan. We do have this on file. This has some legal updates to it, right, Amanda?
It does. So this is updated for the mandate of a sports injury plan. the requirement that all school-sponsored activities for grades 6 through 12, which would really, yeah, we have 6th graders that participate in some, be supervised by a person with CPR training, requirements that all schools which have AEDs, the AEDs will be maintained per the manufacturer's instructions, and at least one AED will be accessible at a sporting event. Finally, references to blah, 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 blah. Yep, so lots of legal updates in that.
All right. Any questions on that one? Okay, next one, JLF reporting child abuse or neglect. We have this on file. This has legal updates in it as well. Anything specific you want to call out, Amanda? Anything
So
big
they
changes?
consulted with the representatives for DCYF and the Granite State Children's Alliance. They improved reporting and recording requirements, so record keeping, that's the paper record keeping. Provide a mandate for the annual trainings in accordance with an RSA. And then they also show a new sample reporting form, which I'll explain
Yep.
next.
That'll be the next one. So that's very required by law. And then up next, you see the form, JLF-F1. This is the form that we can choose to use. So this is our form that we use when we report at DCYF, you know, children's names, birth, grade, date of birth, grade, address, parent, alleged perpetrator, all that stuff. Complaint concern.
So I will say that this is currently the JLF F1 reporting form is something brand new from the School Board Association. The one that you're seeing in front of you right now is one that was put in place by us about 7 years ago.
Okay.
It has all the information that we need. It's the current one we use, the current one people have. The formatting is a little bit different than the form that is suggested by the School Board Association, but right now this is what we use and what's working for us. We'll look at maybe tweaking that form if the administrators and the people that use it all the time think they need to, but right now we're having great success with that form.
Yeah, as long as it checks all the boxes for what the policy says it has to have. So.
Yep.
All right, then the next one up is JLP, parental notification and involvement in student welfare.
She's brand new.
Yep. Is this required by law?
Sure is.
Sure is. All right then. Is there a lawsuit about this right now?
I don't know that one off the top of my head, Tim.
All right. Well, I know we pushed it next year, so. All right. Well, there's that one. Basically saying we cannot adopt the policies, procedures, or student support forms that prohibit district personnel from answering questions from a parent or guardian about that parent, guardian's, student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being, sexuality, or a change in related services or monitoring, or that have the effect of encouraging a student to withhold from a parent or guardian such information. So that is what the state of New Hampshire wants. They want, we cannot protect the student in that fashion. So, that is that. And that's required by law. Next one we have is policy DID, inventory and management of assets. We went through this in finance and facilities. We checked all of our numbers as to the thresholds. So those are all correct, but that brings us up to date with those thresholds. And that was that one. Any questions? The next one was establishment of school bus routes. We just kind of looked at the procedures that we do and brought that in line with whatever state laws that they have. What else did we change on this? I forget. I don't think we changed much.
We took out the transportation coordinator.
Oh, yeah,
replaced it
that's
with
right.
building administrator.
Yeah.
That's the only change I see.
So basically, it's our timeline, and it allows the business administrator to start getting the student enrollment list in early July. So like right after school ends, she's going to start getting the list of who's starting the school in fall, And that way they can start building the bus routes right away. So that's what that one is. Next thing is BAAAA, School Board Policies and Administrative Procedures. This is a policy that allows us to rescind policies when we need to on a case-by-case basis. So there are times when we will maybe have to waive a policy. For times when we need to waive a policy, like for example, the school bus route, establishment of school bus routes we just had, that's what the other thing, that's what we changed on it. If a parent or guardian is dissatisfied with it, right now they can appeal to the board to look at the route. This changes it and says they can appeal to the board and seek a waiver of the policy. And what that says is, okay, we'll allow you to do we'll put in your bus stop outside of this process. And so we found we don't have the policy that allows us to waive policies. So that's why that's in there. It's not like not one we need to use too much, but, and there's reasonings for it as to why we need to do it and that sort of thing. So there are reasons. So that's that one for first reading. And then the last one, administration of federal grant funds. This is absolutely required by law. This has added, I think, a few more things on whistleblowing protections and other such things, but this is all very much needed for our federal grants. So. All right. Any questions on any of them at all? If you thought of something or you're like, oh, I remember that one. All right. So then I will say, all those in favor for adopt a first reading, policy GBGBA/JLCEA/KFD, use of automated external defibrillators and all associated reflexive policies. Policy JJIC for first reading. Policy JLCJA. Policy JLF. Policy JLF-F1. Policy JLP. Policy DID. Policy EEAB. Policy BAAA. And policy DAF for first reading. Signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right. That's some policies. So,
That's some policy.
next meeting will not be in 2 weeks because that's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Our next meeting will be on December 10th. Thank you. I did not have my calendar up yet. So yes, December 10th will be our next meeting. We'll have committee reports, quarterly reports, our warrant articles, if there are any more that we want to put in. The default budget will be ready for us. Draft MSDS 25, the budget approval as well. Anything else people think of, please let me know, let Amanda know, and we'll get it in. Public comment. Seems like there's still nobody here. Feel free to talk, by all means. Personnel, resignations and nominations. Do we have a green sheet?
I do not have a green sheet.
All right, no green sheet tonight. All right, but we do have non-public. I see you with the yellow paper
I
there.
do have a yellow paper.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to go into non-public for hiring.
Make a motion to go into non-public for the purpose of hiring.
Okay.
Second.
Kathleen seconds. All right. Danielle?
Yes.
Yes. Tim? Yes. Kathleen?
Yes.
Hope?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes.
All right, we are in non-public. Thank you, Lily.